a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC News and brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren has asked Governor Cuomo to contribute $100 million in state aid for a new downtown Rochester Performing Arts Center. The request is in a letter the mayor sent on February 13th, laying out the city's wish list for the 2014 state budget. A copy was posted online by Channel 8 reporter Rachel Barnhart. The Arts Center is the second priority on the mayor's list after reallocation of state aid to municipalities to erase what city officials see as a distribution formula that shortchanges Rochester. Negotiations are drawing to a close for the state budget, and so far there is no mention of such a major request. A budget agreement is expected sometime during the day. ACT Rochester's annual community report card gives the 9-county region around Rochester passing grades on the condition of its youth, its economy, financial self-sufficiency, health, housing, the quality of its schools, but it gives the community Ds for public safety, for community engagement, and surprisingly, in a community that prides itself on the arts, for arts, culture, and leisure. The annual report card is a project of the Rochester Area Community Foundation. The red flags for public safety engagement in the arts means those areas are doing worse than the rest of the state by 10% or more. Passing grades mean the particular area is better than, or at least no worse than, the rest of New York. The New York State Senate was filled with tributes to Buffalo Bills founder Ralph Wilson Jr. Thursday afternoon as the Senate approved a resolution honoring his life and accomplishments. Mr. Wilson passed away on Tuesday at the age of 95. The entire Western New York delegation spoke not only of his accomplishments with the Bills, but of his service in World War II and his quiet support of causes across Western New York.
Ralph Wilson Jr. was a champion. He created champions. He himself a Hall of Famer. He invested in the community, numerous charitable organizations, as was just read to you. But let's not forget as well, he was also a World War II Navy veteran who passed at the age of 95 years old.
The Senate then stood at ease for a moment of silence. The Buffalo Bills organization says funeral services for Ralph Wilson Jr. will be held privately in Detroit on Saturday. The team is working out details of a public celebration and remembrance of his life in Buffalo at a future date. The team asks that any donations in Mr. Wilson's memory be made to the Hospice Foundation of Western New York, the Alzheimer's Association Greater Michigan Chapter, or to St. John Hospital Medical Center in support of the Wilson Telemonitoring Program. The State Transportation Department says traffic will resume today on all lanes of the Irondequoit Bay Bridge. The outer driving lanes were blocked off weeks ago after a regular inspection found deteriorated steelwork in the supports below the bridge deck. Crews went to work last month riveting steel cover plates to the support beams and installing new connector plates and other structural steel. The work is essentially complete. The state says the remaining work can be done without restricting traffic. New York's economy added 12,800 non-government jobs in February, according to the state labor department. That's a growth rate of 0.2%. Well over 7.5 million New Yorkers now hold down a job, and that's an all-time high. Figures released yesterday say New York's jobless rate for February also stayed at 6.8%, a 5-year low. In Rochester, the economy added 1,200 private sector jobs last month, and that matches the state growth rate. Authorities in Orleans County say they've arrested 4 people and broken up a drug ring that was dealing in cocaine, ecstasy, and so-called bath salts. Several of those arrested are also charged with rape and unlawful dealing with minors as a result of drug and sex parties held at a home in Gaines involving underage persons. The Orleans County Sheriff's Office says this wrapped up a 6-month investigation by a joint task force. Police have charged Lee Tisdale of Albion, Devin Robinson of Rochester, Laura Campbell of Rochester, and Jennifer Davila of Albion. A house in Gaines where much of this activity took place was condemned by the authorities, and 4 pit bulls were seized. They showed signs of having been involved in dogfighting. A Brighton woman has been indicted by a Monroe County grand jury on 12 counts of aggravated DWI for driving a school bus with 12 children aboard while she was allegedly drunk. Amity Kellum was arrested in late August after a minor crash with the bus at a Mount Read Boulevard gas station, but police investigating found she had just dropped off 12 Brighton Central School District children a short time before. One of a dozen people arrested 4 years ago when a major heroin and cocaine ring was broken up in Rochester has been sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison and 10 years of supervised release. Albert Sturgis of Rochester was convicted of drug sales and money laundering. He is the 8th of the 12 defendants to be sentenced. The Wayside Garden Center in Macedon opened for business Thursday despite a major fire that destroyed 2 of its buildings. The fire destroyed a shed where heavy landscaping equipment was stored. The business owners say they did not lose their plant nursery stock, and they're hoping insurance will recover the equipment lost from their landscaping business. The nursery is on Route 31 on the Wayne County line. Fire struck a house on Linden Street in Rochester Thursday morning, forcing the homeowner to run for it. Mary Jane Lane made it out with her 4 dogs, but most of her 14 cats were lost. Officials say the fire started in the basement and may have been electrical. They also say the home was so cluttered it was difficult to fight the fire. Rochester police are looking for these 2 youths in connection with a cell phone robbery on East Main Street. This happened Monday night in the vicinity of the Sibley building. A man was robbed while waiting for a ride, and if you recognize these 2, police ask that you call 911. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of these pages and catch one. We post updates around the day. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.